welcome to Paper Daisy Journals. It's Kylie. This video is a flip through of two journals. I'm going to try and go fairly quickly, especially through the second one. But these are sister journals. So I came across these two cabinet cards in their original album slips, and I have a feeling they're from the same family because it's the same style of album. So I've decided that they're sisters. This is Hazel. She's the older sister and quite serious. So she will be going first. And this is Camilla. She is the younger sister and tends to get all of Hazel's hand-me-downs and things like that. So the journals are very, very similar. As I should imagine sisters would be. I'm not a sister, so I don't know. But they are also a bit different. So I will go through Hazel's in probably more detail at the start, and then Camilla's I will go through a little bit faster. The extra thing that's going to be with these journals are these little notebooks with a dried rose. So I've dried these roses myself. And I will just quickly show you through this one. Just be careful, there are little thorns still on the roses. These little booklets come with a Victorian calling card, and you could actually cover that name up with your own name and stick that on the cover if you wished. Mother of pearl button, and it's just holding a very simple closure. I'm going to try not to get caught up in this, and that just wraps around. So inside this are all different types of papers. It's a paper lover's little notebook, quite a few pages, beautiful loftic paper on the covers from Nepal, and I've stuck that to embossed paper on the inside, so that those two notebooks have different covers but the same paper on the inside, so I won't bother undoing the other one. So that's just a little extra thing that you can write in all your sister things, and it could probably even fit inside this journal in one of the pockets. So I'll just put Camilla to the side, and I will show you Hazel. So Hazel and Camilla love nature themed, and Edith Holden is their friend. I have actually covered these journals in Edith Holden fabric, and I have used some ink to make the fabric look a bit more aged. That is a collector's card, magpie moth on the back there, just holding the seam binding closure down. And this spine, oh, these spines, mother of pearl buttons woven into crisscrossed signature strings. There's 4 signatures, about 80 pages to journal on, and this spine is just fabric, so it's quite loose. Trying to do this, I'm so sorry, a neighbour just went past in his revved up car. Anyway, that's Australia for you. There you go. A little bit of bogan in my video today. If you could hear it. If you couldn't, I just sound crazy. But anyway, back to my beautiful journal. So this was quite laborious, but I feel it was worth it. Now this cabinet card is from the 1800s. I think I said that. I have put eyelets through it, but it is not attached in any other way. The seam binding is woven through this doily that is stitched on, machine stitched, but the doily is also not stitched all the way around. So there are 2 hidden pockets, one that goes all the way underneath the doily and one that goes all the way underneath the cabinet card. So how fun would it be to slip letters inside the little secret tuck spots? And there's a little bit of room there, so you could have quite a few. This is a beaded charm here of a little sunflower and just a seam binding. Lots of ruffles going on, dangly bits down the bottom, tabs up the top. Oh, antique paper flying off, signature string beads. So it's all going on in these journals. I have really enjoyed putting these together. They're also very influenced by a friend of mine on Instagram, Austin. I will link Austin's Instagram account in the description because she is getting into some really beautiful grungy nature themed journals. But back to this one because we've got a lot to get through. So Tim Holtz fabric lining the journals, antique fabric tag tucked into that lace pocket. Each signature has a fabric or lace element, so you can imagine trying to do that on a floppy spine with crossed over signature strings and mother of pearl buttons. Don't know why I do it to myself sometimes. Sewing in the signature is my least favorite part, to be honest, and I just went next level on myself this time. Twice, not just once, twice. Book page there, a little cluster with a mother of pearl button on some vintage transport manual. Beautiful antique fabric ruffle with a beaded bow charm. Tea stain paper throughout. This is a vintage French receipt from 1931. Ledger as a tuck spot, fabric pocket. I tea stained most of the fabrics used in the journals to give them that aged look and some of the lace. So that's a lacy tab at the top and one of my collage tags. She looks a little bit upset. Maybe she didn't get the pay rise she was hoping for. Or if it's the 1940s, the kids have been mucking up. Doily snippet there, stitched on. Coffee stained paper. I've also decided to start wrapping all different things around the other side of the page, just to give that page lots of journaling space, but a little bit of a feature there. A cross-stitched, hand cross-stitched pocket there made out of part of a, I think it might have been a doily, or placemat. They're the signature beads up close. Tuck spot there. My light's fading, but it's giving the journals that grungy look, which I kind of like. So I won't be lightening this one. Lace pocket, tea stained. That's the antique postcard. I haven't covered the back. Your choice whether you do that or not. A doily snippet at the top there. I did some stamping and a little bit of watercolor. I'd like to start doing my own freestyle watercoloring in journals, but to be on the safe side to start with, I'm just going to do some stamping and just add a little bit of a colored wash. And this is the next signature, piece of lace there, lightly tea stained paper doily. Gorgeous telegram here from the 30s, 1958 maybe. Antique ruffle with a heart beaded charm and some very grungy paper there. French diary with beautiful purple fountain pen writing. Piece of ledger. I use a lot of ledger in my journals. Antique lecture notes with some beautiful tulle lace stitched, hand stitched over the top. That's probably one of my favorite pages in the journals. Another tab with a collage tag, some Tim Holtz vellum on there as well, but everything else is vintage or antique, and there's a snippet of lace. This is a really nice elastic lace pocket, so you can put quite a bit in this one. Another pocket here, cross-stitched rose from a tablecloth. It did have stains. This is an antique postcard or photograph or cabinet card holder. You can put one on this side if you tuck it into those tucks, those little tucks there. and you can put another one on the other side, so it's a double-sided spot for you to put 2 photographs. Sepia photographs would look really cool in this journal actually. Some vintage pages there, another fabric pocket, beautiful antique trim tab with butterflies on it. The girls love butterflies, obviously. That's another collage tag, tea stain paper on the back. And I have decided to do little tab tops on these ones because I like to use all of my scraps. That's a lace belly band. A real daisy sewn on the bottom, that was experimental. Also glued, so it shouldn't come off. That's the other side of that telegram. Going into the next signature, really beautiful piece of lace. Sort of laying across those flowers, a bit like a lattice fence, which I think's a lovely effect. That's a pocket there. The tally card tucked in. So that's a vintage tally card, and I've just tucked it into some Battenberg. That is a tuck spot. And a beaded flower charm there. Oops. Oh, all mixed up now. And snippet of tulle lace hand stitched on. I think that's a really sweet, very simple, but one of my favorite parts because you've got the little element and then the layers going through. That's a beautiful French receipt from 1874, and it was a folded envelope with the original postage stamp. One of my nature themed collaged tags. It is a printable in my Etsy shop, but I'm going to be changing my printables over the next 6 months just to add something a bit different to my shop, to update it. And I will be upcycling some of the elements in my original printables, but mostly they will be new. That's a really beautiful tea staining on that snippet there. In the middle here, we've got 2 tuck spots on that side, oops, and that side, and an original postage stamp, just a bit of decoration there. These are the signature beads. I tried to match them in with the colours here, the blush and the creams. Another fabric pocket and a little tuck up the top there, beautiful. I don't know whether that's been hand stitched or not, but it was on the edge of a linen doily or possibly handkerchief. And antique papers, another collaged tag with a butterfly scrap, a little angel there from a vintage magazine tucked in. You can sort of see through the holes there. Nice little tab at the top there, and another pocket from book page. I just fold the bottom of the book page up and then glue it. And going into the next, signature. I love this tablecloth. Had stains. If I have a beautiful tablecloth with no stains, I use it in my house somewhere. But any with stains, I tend to cut up into crafters gift boxes, or I'm just loving starting. It's a pain. It's hard to sew signatures in with these at the start, but I just really love the look, and I think I will be doing it again and again and again and again. That is a telegram, a voting telegram actually from 1939, I think. Beautiful grungy ledger from the US grocery store, a US grocery store, so you can actually read, it is in English, you can read through that. And that is a French luggage tag with a Victorian scrap, all original. Beautiful fabric ruffle with a beaded button charm, and some vintage paper. You can see the beautiful patina around the edge. Battenberg, just there for something a little bit fun. You can probably flip it up if you want more hanging out the top of the journal, but rather than it being a leftover, I've just hand stitched it to the top of this embroidery booklet page, so a vintage embroidery magazine page. This is another tuck spot, and it has little holes in it and an embroidered tab at the top. Some lace there. This is an Edith Holden page sewn in as a giant pocket, and inside that pocket there is an envelope, vintage envelope from the 70s, and inside that is a nice big journaling card with a big fabric tab down the side, and I'm going to hopefully get that back in quite smoothly. Yes. And that all just slips into there, creating some beautiful layering through there. The other side of the embroidery magazine with a little mother of pearl cluster, vintage book page, another nice big pocket there. The tea staining looked marvelous with that crocheted edge, and I've wrapped it around the page. And this is an original Victorian calling card, Susie Pitts, possibly one of Hazel's friends. And that's the back of everything. This is my little thank you layered tag. I have a tutorial on doing a layered tag on my channel. I did have it as a craft with me, but I don't think anyone else is doing these sorts of layered tags, so I'm going to turn it in, make it into a tutorial, because technically I'm showing you how to do something new maybe. But I usually write my little thank you note underneath. You can definitely cover that and use it as a tag if you want, or the idea is that you pull all this apart and use these elements in your journal. And these are snippets left over from making the journal. That's another antique fabric tag there, tucked in. Beautiful, just goes beautifully with the Tim Holtz fabric colours. So I'll just slot that back into there. And that is Hazel, the older, more serious sister. She's a very astute. Oh, and I will just show you a little close-up of Hazel. Okay, and then now we have Camilla. I will show you a close-up of Camilla. You can see she's wearing one of Hazel's dresses, not as well fitted. I like Camilla, and her cabinet card doesn't quite fit into the album, but again, a tapestry spine with the mother of pearl. She has a little tiger moth on the back with the Edith Holden fabric. Same charm here. I think from watching my friends and their sisters, it's always safe that sisters have a similar thing to start with, because there's no fights. I think it was easier having a younger brother, but anyway, because I could just boss him around. He didn't often listen, but it felt good just to be a bit bossy every now and then. My mum will be laughing at that because I was probably very bossy. Anyway, antique fabric tag, and it just, the colours match in again really beautifully. I just really enjoy putting these journals together. So I'm just going to flip probably a little bit more quickly through this journal, because as you know, they are the same. So the same sort of charms, obviously a different receipt, but from the same era. This is a tuck spot, fabric tea stained pocket, that's the collage tag there. I have put tab tops on these ones. You can also tuck things up underneath the lace tabs at the top. That's the antique postcard, beautiful handwriting from 1911 on that one, Lyon in France. This is, they are the signature beads, beautiful pinks and greens, kind of go with the pinks there, but those beads have little roses in them, glass beads. A sunflower or daisy on the side there of that beautiful lace pocket. That's another tuck spot, and that is a tuck spot with a tab. That's the stamping there, and oops, next signature lace and the telegram there. They are original. Heart charm on that fabric ruffle, and the French diary ledger, beautiful. I needed to put the same type of pocket in Camilla's journal. She's a nice big tuck spot there, and a collage tag with a Will's cigarette card. I noticed Camilla has some little interesting things like that, so she must have hid them from Hazel. And that's the postcard holder with the beautiful lecture notes at the back, and another pocket. That's actually a rose there, and a little tab at the top, tea stained. I say the word little a lot, I've noticed. Actually, side note, you could play a drinking game based on the number of times I say little in a YouTube video. I've just thought of how fun that would be. You'd be quite sloshed at the end of some of them if you were drinking hard liquor. Of course, you could also do it with tea, but probably not as fun. This is a, I don't even know how that popped into my head. This is a lace tuck spot, belly band here, and that's the daisy that I hand stitched on and glued. On the other side is the telegram, lightly tea stained paper doily, and there's that lattice look with the lace. And these book pages, all I simply do is fold up the bottom and glue it to make a little pocket, just in case you're new to making a journal. It's a really pretty way of creating a space to tuck things. That's a button, beaded button charm down the side of that ruffle. Again, beautiful. Look at that typography and lace, and so pretty. Original stamps there. And this is the, oops, that flowers. These flowers will probably come off eventually, but I think that just adds to the charm. And that's the tea stained paper on the back, tucked into there. And we've got our double pockets, original postage stamp, and the signature beads. I've tried to match in with the greens and the sort of reds in there. Just, I don't know, one of those little touches you sort of try and do. Some pockets and tucks there. The other side of that receipt. And collage tag, probably my favourite ones, probably the plainest. It is a little bit wonky at the top there, but I kind of like that. Just all the different handwriting and typing. And that's in that elasticized pocket with a beautiful antique trim. That's another pocket that sort of matches in. There's all little elements and sort of even goes across into that ruffle. That you sort of, it's appealing to the eye and the senses, I think. That's how everything ties in. The start of the next signature, beautiful tablecloth. That's the telegram, ledger, and calling card. That's Mrs. I think C.F. Grant. And some grunged up music paper. And that's a bow beaded charm. And Battenberg, and on the back here of this embroidery magazine are the ads in French. I will learn French maybe this year. I'll give you an update every flip through. No, That would just be weird. And any French viewers will just laugh at me. We'll do it in secret. And we've got some fabric, and I'm just pulling on something I probably shouldn't, so I'm just going to quickly snip that off because obviously annoying me. Sorry about that, everyone. That's what being a bit OCD is all about. Edith Holden, Pages a Pocket, really cool windowed envelope from the 70s, nicely patinaed with age. And that is the journaling card. I probably shouldn't have pulled that all the way out, but look at that, it goes straight back in. Little fabric tab, and you can see May through the pocket. That worked well. Probably not intentional, but the layering again, I just love it. Mother of Pearl cluster, and another doily snippet pocket. That's a collage tag, probably my second favorite collage tag. I just love that jeweled lace, and that butterfly goes really nicely with that pocket. Of course, you can definitely change the tags around in the journals. That's the luggage tag with the Victorian scrap tucked in there. And coming to the end, this is the little thank you layered tag. These are not tea stained, but quite easy to do if you wanted to. And that's the beautiful antique fabric tag, matches beautifully in with the Tim Holtz fabric lining. Okay, so that is Camilla. Hazel has insisted that they be listed separately in my Etsy shop. So they will be. And from this point going forward, I'm probably not going to put a time and date on when I list journals. I am really just going to put them in my shop once I've filmed and uploaded this these flip through videos. So that's just how it's going to be, quite random, but that just makes it fun. And I think less sort of anticipation for me, and for people who do miss out on getting a journal, it's less disappointing if you've been waiting and you're setting an alarm. So I'm just going with the flow for 2021, and yes, so thank you for listening to me during this video. Remember that little game. Oh, I said little in the title of the game. It's a game of little. That would be quite fun. Let me know if you do actually play it, but best not to write comments if you're under the influence. Just warning now. And that is not encouraging you to start drinking. Of course, I did mention tea as an option. Okay, a little bit of fun to lighten your day, if anything. So please don't be upset or insulted by anything I say. It's never intended to be anything but fun. So thank you for watching right to the end. No real big bloopers today. I was pretty smooth. Okay, and I will hopefully you will watch my next video. Bye.